Alrighty, good evening. FFR Rando Marathon continues with Bloodstained. I am your host, Classic Gamer 76. We are doing this for the Liam Foundation. All right, take it away.
Hi everybody, my name is Tony. This is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, or Roten for short. It's one of the few games we have with a randomizer mode included right in the base game. Like many randomizers, we generate seeds, which I have up on the screen now. If you want to copy this number down, you can play it yourself at home. This game's a Metroidvania, so it's a platformer with RPG mechanics. It's a spiritual successor to Symphony of the Night and all the GBA and DSvania games that came after that. So we got a Max Chaos upgrade. So just to explain real quickly what the differences are between those two things. Our main category, everything stays in its own family of drops. So we have purple shards or souls, if you're familiar with the GBA series. We have items all over the place in chests. Normally they would stay together, like purples would stay with purples, weapons would stay with weapons. But we got an upgrade, so now everything's shuffled with everything. And that's pretty much it. We're going to get going here. I'm going to let my friend Yeehaw in commentary explain the base movement mechanic we're going to kick the game off with right away, because we might find something super important and then we won't have time to talk about it. So we're going to do that first, and then we're going to get started.
All right, thanks for letting me in on that, Tony. Basically, what's going to happen as soon as we start the game is Tony is going to turn around, he's going to hit a button that will cause him to backdash, and then he's going to press down, which will cancel the backdash, and he's going to continue to repeat this. Basically, he's just looking for a smooth rhythm. Doesn't have to be extremely fast, but it can be extremely fast, and I'm glad we're introducing that right away, because that chest on the right side of the screen could be something really big. So, Tony, if you're ready, let's count it down in 3, 2, 1, Bloodstained. There we go. We're just picking up an MP max up. Again, that chest could be pretty much anything. So this is the opening stage of it. Oh, we got a little bit of a slowdown. Yeah, we were running into this.
Yeah, we ran into this a little bit in setup, but it's okay. It's playable.
It's still playable. HP max up. This is one of the mechanics right there. You see how Miriam's arm is up. 360-degree rotation. Be able to basically point at anything. That's one of the many ways of doing damage in this game.
Oh man. Well,
we're
hopefully it's just the rain in this area, and then it'll clear up. But
we're simulating playing on the Switch. A lot of things in this game are FPS dependent, and Switch unfortunately only operates at about 30 FPS. All right, let's see what we get out of this chest. Ammunition crafting, and then there's going to be the breakable wall that
I'm not sure what's going on with the lag here. We had it working fine until we went live.
One of the unfortunate bits. So Tony's going to work his way to the right to get an easy check and an enemy kill. And a level up. So this game does have RPG elements, levels, statistics, HP, MP.
Yeah, it's like every time I'm going to pick up a chest, it's...
Oh, that's a big one right there. That's one of the two things we actually need to beat the game. Katana by the name of Zangetsuta.
I'm trying to equip it.
So we do have that timer in the lower left-hand corner. It is slowing down with the game, and it is frame rate dependent. So the slower frame rate's going, the slower that clock's going to go. So pay attention to the clock in the upper right-hand corner, because we already have about 30 seconds.
This is going to happen on every chest, I think. So we probably should look for an alternative solution here.
Probably. Do you have desync active?
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't change anything. We tested it. We tested it before, and it was fine. But now it's just doing what it was doing before. So
doing whatever it wants to do. So we haven't seen any shards yet. We'll be coming up on the very first guaranteed shard of the game. Luckily, it is giving a purple, which is a directional shard. Unfortunately, that's not one that's going to be very usable because it takes
that one wasn't even
actual.
chest.
We see Tony backdashing around everything, and that was a lag spike.
Yeah, I tried to turn and slide there, but
yeah, the lag spike kind of.
I mean, if we want to try we could try the other computer, maybe. It's just the problem is we're gonna get even further behind. So
that would be up to stream staff.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we can do with that, but I mean that's
almost dropping the seconds per frame there. But for what we have going on right now, the green chests are at this point pretty much just going to be extra stuff. We have exactly what we need from that. We're looking for a specific purple shard, which is that directional one, and that can be on any enemy in the game.
Yeah, having a few issues turning around too, because it kind of lags a little bit and then eats my turnaround input, but we'll try to make it work. Maybe if we get off the boat and we get away from all the weird background animations, something will level off. But
yeah, there are fewer background animations as we get further in the game. So, as we can see, this is a platformer, and Tony. One thing that's going on with Tony's movement is when he's trying to move down, you'll notice he's trying to get into a slide. The slide is to push what most platformers call coyote time. He's sliding off, retaining his ability to jump as if he was on the ground, and then either letting himself fall or activating his jump just to get to the other side. It allows you to extend your horizontal and vertical movement a little bit sometimes, depending on all your options. At this point, it's mostly for horizontal extension. It also saves smidges of time, which over the course of a max rando actually ends up mattering because it can be a minute over the course of an hour. That slide off a little bit right there. Alright. If the game allows us to, we're going to be heading into the first boss. This is FFR, after the first check. Right, is different. That is a gun. Guns are really bad until they're the best thing. Tony's going to take a safety save real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it back to off. I think we were getting a less before.
Yeah. There we go. And this is FFR. I just noticed in chat, somebody mentioned everything shuffled with everything. What could go wrong? Given that this randomizer does not have logic, a lot. But this is a vetted seed, so we know it's a complete.
You know what else I could try? Hold on a second. Yeah, let's try that. I don't have him in my my commentator. I don't have him in here.
Yeah, the commentator.
I could hear him.
The stream was
speakers
suggesting
not here.
Was suggesting exactly what you just did.
Oh. I can't hear him. I can hear him from that, but I can't hear him in headphones.
Oh, we have a blue shard. Gonna remove the door because it just gets in the way. Alright, Feral Claws. Blue shards kind of change how Miriam operates. You basically hold the button down and they range from things like automatic healing to shields to attacks to one of them, obviously the best one, turns you into the Flash.
Oh, I can't make it lower.
There's our important P part, MP.
I'm just gonna do the quest.
Fair enough.
It gives us. I normally would skip this, but if I was gonna say, give us a sample of like maybe what else we could try with to get the lag out of here, but.
Ooh. The red shard Tony just picked up is what we call a conjure shard. You just push a specific button and you do something. In that instance, you kind of throw out a giant rat.
This is what I get for complaining about the PS5 version.
Yeah, one of the things we were going to bring up a little bit later is that the PlayStation 5 version of the game actually runs a little worse than the PlayStation 4 version. We don't know specifically what it is, if it's some sort of emulation type deal or the PlayStation 5 just overpowering Unreal Engine 4, but it does.
What? Let's try this. No idea if this is going to work, but it's worth a punt, I guess. All
right, this is the main crafting menu. Tony's going to be looking for a few specific things and looking at what he has that he can break down. Breaking things down requires a specific item called Alkahest. We don't know where it is. Could be in the shop, could need to find it from an enemy, could be trapped behind itself. That is a thing that can happen.
We're going to try windowed again. Nah, it's doing the same thing.
Nope. That seems a little better.
Don't jinx me, man. I mean, talk about anything else but that.
So, one of the other differences between Max Chaos, like we're running right now, and same type shuffle is that in Max Chaos, the food ingredients tend to get shuffled in with the actual food. Yeah. And it'll give you a lot of options for actual, like, just buying food and being okay on HP. And same type shuffle, you're kind of at the mercy of if you have potions available or not. So, it's one of the nice parts about Max Rando.
You know
one
what?
of the other things that...
It does feel better now. I don't want to jinx it myself, but it's happening less.
Yeah, it is a little less.
This would be a good point to bring up that we have this game run again on a bonus next week, so you can tune in and see this without all these problems. But
yeah, that'll be run by Axel Ryman.
Yeah, he's much better than me as well. So you'll see like better combat, probably better decision making, to be honest.
Yeah. Melee combat in this game is actually a thing, unlike some of the other Igavanias. Symphony of the Night, melee combat is basically nothing. In this game, there are times where you will need to beat somebody with a sword. While we're in a bit of a straight line, do we have any donations we might want to throw in?
Nothing more at the moment, but we are just a few away from meeting our first day goals or record. So let's get some donations in.
Excellent.
Yeah, hey Yi, would you? I was busy trying to figure out what was going on with this. Did you talk about the items we need to actually beat the game yet?
I did not name the second one we need, but I did mention that we have the first one, the Sword Zangetsuto. I did mention that the second one is a directional shard. Do we want to spoil what the name of that one is?
It's called Dimension Shift. You're going to hear it a lot if we find it early.
Yeah, if we find it, you're going to hear Miriam yelling, Dimension Shift, Dimension Shift. It can get a little grating.
Yeah, Igarashi likes anime, so every character usually cries out the name of their attack as they're using it.
Fun fact, if you hold up on the controller, Miriam will pose like in JoJo.
You can't really see it with the DLC armor on.
Yeah. Dimension Shift is effectively a short-range teleport. You use by basically holding your hand out, and a specific spot will pop up. That's the spot you will teleport to. You can't go directly up or down with it because of the distances involved. It just your teleport point ends up being outside of the screen, so you end up having to work in weird 45 or 180 degree angles. And it's a relatively low MP cost as well, but it does take MP, and it is required to get to the final boss. All right.
Yeah, since we're on max, the reason I'm not skipping anything is because we're on max. Normally I'd be just jetting past a lot of these enemies. I'd only kill the ones that drop purples.
Oh, we already know what that blue is.
Yeah. If I could not turn around. You can kind of mitigate turning around by accident by just pushing down and away from where you want to go. So instead of just down, but that's a little bit harder to learn.
That was a transition room. That's a holdover from Symphony of the Night's loading zones since it was on PlayStation 1. Just not a fun little thing they like to do. All right,
yeah, you can cancel the first couple nameplates, but for some reason you can't cancel anyone after this one. We don't know why.
It's really strange.
Yep.
we really don't know why. They just wanted it to.
Yeah, every time I'm leveling up or I pick up a stat up, I am also canceling that. You just push this pause button. So if you see me pause by accident, it's because I did it too early. We don't know why that's like not explained in the game either, but it's just not. I'm not even gonna bother trying to kill that guy with melee.
Yeah, that was weird. Did you get that last toad, or did it clip through the floor?
I don't know.
Through the floor. This randomizer it's weird. It's very fun, but it's weird. But it can be weird. All right, blue chest. Those are kind of shuffled around all around the castle. They have different, depending on what zone they're intended to be in originally, they have different items in them. Sometimes it's food, sometimes it's potions, sometimes it's crafting materials. Sometimes it just gives you like $10 for some reason, and we never really want to see that. Oh, that's a pretty decent pickup, depending on what we get later on. Purple. Oh, there we go.
Oh, this is going to make everything way easier.
Yeah, this is going to make everything a lot easier. So Void Ray is one of the 2 laser beam shards that you can get access to. It is not a fixed MP cost. What you're going to see is Tony is going to tap the button to attack with it. It's only going to consume a few, maybe 4 or 5 MP. But if he holds it down, it'll just drive his MP button. It'll allow him to just tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, I'm doing this a little slower here, but I'll just say it now. When we start farming for the thing we need, there might be some screen transitions that are really rapid like this, and I'll give you a heads up if that happens. But heads up to anybody that has sensitivity issues with that. It won't happen till later, but it might happen if we don't randomly find what we need.
Yeah, Void Ray is one of the ones that doesn't have the name call out, which is honestly kind of nice. Tis Rosane, the holy version of it, she'll actually yell Tis Rosane, and if you're trying to rapid fire, you just hear Tis, 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 as Night214 was saying in chat.
Yeah, Miriam loves to yell the name of the attack.
So we're coming up on the first,
whatever you're
real
using.
awesome Yeah. First real boss in the castle. This is Zangetsu 1. Void Ray is going to do some really good damage against him, especially considering where he falls in the game. In a vanilla run, in an initial playthrough, this is a major wall. And Tony just casually snipes him for the medal, which is the no damage clear. Yes,
Yeah, well.
he is voiced by David Hayter, and Hayter's just using the snake voice. So
Yeah, I guess they contacted him and they were like, nah, no notes, just do your
just
normal
do
voice.
whatever you want. Have fun. And David Hayter's a pretty relaxed dude, so he just had fun with it. So you might have noticed a smidge. Oh, we have a red. What do we get? Oh, Tisrafe. It's kind of a middling red. Potentially usable, holy element. There are elements for almost everything in this game. It's kind of like a big rock, paper, scissors element thing. There are status effects, just like there are status effects that you can run into. Poison is extremely effective against humans. Curse tends to be very effective against humans too, and that also applies to your player character. If you get cursed, you are operating at half HP and half maximum MP until the curse runs out. You do get that back if it was taken away from you and you didn't take damage, but if you take damage, you're stuck where you were at. Alright, we're coming up on one of the first canisters in the game, and the default, these have a white. In this one, we're going to get Summon Viewer, which not a great spell. Just kind of perhaps one of the enemies that you run into, that spinning wheel thing that rocks around. And lets it run. That's a yellow shard. That is a passive. You can have one of them equipped at any given time. That one just increases your damage resistance against holy spells.
I was praying real hard over that jump right there.
Yeah.
That's not what we want to lag at, yeah.
Yeah, that jump can be weird even in situations where we're not lagging.
It's okay.
Potion
The Switch players have to
useful.
deal with worse, so, you know, we can't
Yeah.
complain. Don't buy this game on mobile, by the way.
Oh yeah. We also don't recommend even attempting to pick up the mobile version. It stopped development at something like version 1.3.
Yeah, you can't even patch it, so.
They can't even patch it. The company it got farmed out to shut down.
But everywhere else, it works pretty good. Like PS5 and mobile, just avoid those.
Yeah, I can attest to the fact that the game works stellar on the Xbox Series consoles. I primarily play on those.
I talk about all the little things I'm doing, but to save like an MP here or whatever there, but I don't think it's going to matter really.
Yeah, but with the way the system is lagging on you, you might just have to ignore some.
The
of those
bottom line is like
optimizations.
you don't need to do any of the fancy stuff to be able to be decent at this game.
No.
It's really friendly in that sense. Like you walk really slow, but once you learn how to backdash like this, you can kind of beat almost anybody in a race if you get lucky. And it's not just a matter of going to the casino, pulling the arm, and getting lucky. If you pick the right place to go in the castle before anybody else, you could just win. We've beaten the best players in races before, and we've gotten demolished by them. So you can compete right away, which is pretty cool.
The RNG a lot of times allows for just making a decision and being rewarded for it, or being punished for it.
Yeah, I mean, how many times has somebody lost to Fran because she went to caverns and we didn't, and that's where the stuff was that we needed to beat the game.
This is true. We love Fran. All right.
have time to talk about a donation real quick?
High frame rate glitch.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
With all the stuttering at high frame rates, this boss for some reason just kind of stands there and turns around repeatedly. Usually for frame rates over 120, sometimes a little higher. Oh, white double jump. Hey, excellent. That's even faster movement and die kicking.
Yeah, okay, we're going to
So
show
Tony's
that
got
off in a second, but they're going to read a donation real quick.
Alrighty, so we have $8.76 from Sprocket saying, "Ehehehe." We are just shy of 3,000 raised so far, and we are just like still like 170 or something away from our first day record. So let's get in some more donations.
Yeah, let's get those donations in. So if I'm reading what Tony's thinking right, he is going to work his way up and go to the mid-game boss, the fake-out end boss.
Well, I can't get all the way there with just double jump, but I can get up.
You can head in that direction.
Yeah, I can get up to the next section, open a shortcut that'll leave it open for us to come back. Can't blame that one on lag. That was all me.
No, that happens. The
this
dive
isn't-
kick is a very powerful tool.
This isn't the easiest. Oh, that.
Yeah, that was a lag spike. The dive kick is a powerful tool, but it can be a little weird. It is an offensive option. The hitbox is strange for some reason. We've run into issues where it looks like you should be just absolutely kicking somebody in the face, and you just take damage. It's weird.
Yeah, and even though we got the Zangetsu Toe Sword at the beginning, which is the only item we need to beat the game, I'm still checking all the items because...
That's a big
okay.
one. And that's a big one.
Let's see what this
Okay.
does to the game.
All right, so Accelerator turns you into the Flash. As you
This
can
is
see.
the actual best shard in the game.
Yeah, this is the actual best shard in the game. The other blue that he picked up in that room stops time.
It costs a lot of
So-
mana, though, so we can't really use
Yeah,
it
it
unless
costs
we find it.
a lot of MP. So one of the things Tony's going to be trying to keep an eye out for is an item called Chisel's Glasses, which effectively gives you infinite MP as long as you have enough to cast whatever it is you're going to cast. And that lag spike. Elementals are among the worst enemies in the game.
Oh,
They
I did not think I
move
could get that.
completely randomly, and they just... Ugh.
Alright, I'm going to open the shortcut anyway. As good as this is, it's not vertical, so to get through the next section, we either have to fight a really nasty boss, or we have to go vertical.
You did pick up Aqua Stream, so you have underwater.
Yeah, that's where we're going to go next. I'm
I
just
have
killing all this stuff just to try to get lucky and find, you know, what we need. So we're going to heal here. When you eat, when you drink potions, nothing happens except you just, you know, you gain MP, you gain HP, whatever. But when you eat food or drink a drink in this game, the first time you do so, you get a permanent stat boost. So some food, we get it and we eat it right away, even if we don't need health or MP, because we want the permanent stat boost. Like intelligence for doing more damage with magic, MP, like total MP or MP regen. You know, stuff like that.
And food funnels into most of the standard stats. Drinks are fully MP regeneration, and they improve your MP regeneration per second. If you just stand around, you begin by gaining 1 MP per second where you're not doing anything, and then each drink adds 1 to 2 per the second.
All right, do we have time for another donation?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we have $25 from Anonymous, and that puts us over 3,000 for this first day.
Excellent.
Yeah, GG's to everyone.
GG, everyone. Okay, Tony's working himself back to a teleporter.
Over to the right.
Here's what
Keep going there. Okay.
here's what I've turned up.
Brief stop back in the town to check on various things.
Yeah, we're coming back here because it's going to get us underwater quicker, so we may as well check all this stuff anyway, just to see if there's anything that leads us to that infinite MP we were talking about.
Right, stop. Back a little, stop. Down a little, click OK.
Infinite MP, or even potentially a different type of movement.
Oh. So, What'll it be?
Grab something vertical.
Do you not do control W?
You have to stop Dominique.
Do you want to save changes? Press keyboard,
What would you like to
press
sell?
right.
Okay, so I'm going to do something that we don't typically do in this version, and I'm going to sell some stuff, and that's because I know it can't lead to anything else that we could use. Typically, we would sell all our stuff that's useless, but we might be able to break it into something that crafts into something that we really want. And by that I mean Sheevil's glasses, and we're going to buy more healing because we're going to need it.
Yeah, we got weed from that.
We need a lot of healing. Oh, fruit juice and shop. That's excellent. That's really good.
Yeah, anytime there's a drinking shop, it's really good because one of the big blocks of beating the last boss is damage, and one of the easiest ways to get damage is magic, and the thing that stops you from using magic a ton in any fight is running out of MP. So, so drinks can restore MP. They're like the only thing they can. Or that accessory that we were looking for. I'm just gonna check these chests real quick.
There are some other items in the game that will actually increase your HP regeneration rate. Not a lot of them. There's an accessory that'll enable those roses to give you a little bit more. There's a hat called Witch's Hat, which actually does increase your MP regeneration. It also looks very good. I'm a fan of that hat.
Okay, nothing.
Nothing more.
This is pretty quick though. Like I probably wouldn't have went for this without accelerator, but why not? If one of those is Jeebel's glasses, we cut minutes off the time. Maybe even the tens of minutes. All right, time to go swimming.
Let's go. Actually, it's almost more water jetting the way we're going to be going down there.
Yeah, and this is the tricky bit is we have to decide what to farm and where because we have the main item that we need, but we also need vertical movement. So there's not really a right or wrong answer here. It's a total gamble. What is even the best hat? Yeah, we'll stick with that.
Yeah, probably that.
Yeah, as much as I want as much luck as possible for more drops, one luck probably isn't worth wearing over like a bunch of intelligence or strength for damage.
And as we get further and further in the game, magic will outstrip any damage you can do with melee weapons. And funny enough, melee weapons actually become more about movement as you're go further along it than they do anything else. All right, we're gonna get a look at Aquastream. Aquastream is a really good shard. It costs 0 MP when you're underwater, and it's the way you propel yourself around until you run into some stuff later on. It's also excellent outside of the water because it's a crouch cancelable spammable attack.
Yeah, there's only 2 of those in the entire game. So there's this one, and then there's Chisel Barrage, which normally comes off of a super boss. And for whatever reason, when you crouch while using the shard, it spawns another hitbox and the animation of that, water splash or chisel. And that kind of lets you do like double almost damage for the same MP cost. And you can delete bosses with it, especially if you have infinite MP, or you can pause and restore your MP really fast.
As long as they're not resistant to water.
Yeah. Well, even then you can still.
Then it's slower.
Yeah. It depends on how late in the game you are. If you're even later in the game, you can still beat something with something that's resisted to. Why am I doing this when I have accelerate?
The way this has gone so far, I really don't blame you, Tony. Accelerator is just the top method for getting around. It's very easy. You hold the button down. Default on the consoles is just holding right bumper or right trigger, or whatever the equivalent is on whatever controller you're using. Or R1 or right bumper, really.
Yeah, skipping a bunch of rooms. I should probably be checking, but picking up warp rooms isn't as necessary when you have something so fast like Accelerator. And A lot of those things in the caverns there are miserable to farm, so I'm just going to skip them.
The aqua stream actually drops from those weird underwater like jellyfish creatures called Decima, the one we got the shard that we're not looking for out of. The game doesn't actually convey to you that you might be able to get that. It's a major pain point. And I heard somebody yell, "Yeah."
Yeah, it doesn't tell you what you need to do in a lot of places.
Yeah, and that's of the three major pain points. The first one is that first Zangetsu fight. The second one is actually finding aqua stream to go underwater, and then the third one, if we run into it, we'll point it out. It's that one's probably one of the worst. That one actually has nothing telling you what to do. It just assumes you're gonna be doing a specific thing that not a lot of people do. Oh, that's a good hat.
It's the best intelligence hat we can find on the ground. Alright. And another reason I wanted to just skip the cave stuff is because I can farm all the stuff in underwater here without using MP because Aqua Stream's free underwater. So this is just a small optimization that could pay off or, you know, could be terrible. If Water Leaper in the caverns has dimension shift, then this is just bad, but, you know, welcome to the casino. Okay, so I'm just checking these. We probably don't need any of these green chests. We've got a MP restore item in the shop, so, you know, it's not as necessary.
Worst.
Yeah, we can always just sell everything at the end once we have go mode, buy as many fruit juices as we can afford, and then go from there.
We are playing on PC right now. We're just running into some weird stuff. Somebody in chat was asking if we were playing what platform. Oh, Faltayab. The 3 darkness shards are actually really good. Faltayab is probably the best one overall in terms of damage, but Void Ray is a lot easier to use.
Yeah,
Faltsew is... It's easily third. Oh, another blue. Peace Guard. Alright, yellow. Strength, not really the one we're looking for. Right now we kind of want we just want augment int or luck.
Yeah, the good news is we're only 2 steps away from just going right to the end. We just need vertical movement of some kind. That's better than double jump, and that shard that gets us past the solid wall at the end of the game. Yeah, and it's unfortunate because this game really doesn't require that much to run, so there's probably some weird, like, thing that none of us could have foresaw behind what's happening right now. Like, this thing runs on my potato laptop okay, you know, with everything turned down to low. I blame Microsoft.
that's who we all blame. This
Yeah,
is
it's probably some process that's in the background just ruining it, you know.
It might just be probably like Windows update. My computer's complaining for an update as well, so. So, this is Alfred. The question is, how many times do we need to teach this old man a lesson? And in same type shuffle, it's almost never. In Max, it's kind of frequent. He throws out a lot of status effects. He can poison you, he can curse you, he can stone you. He's got some really nasty attacks. A lot of the same spells we have access to at various points in the game.
Yeah, the only reason I'm even doing him right now is because he's a guaranteed drop, and since all we need is the shard, Dimension Shift technically could be our vertical movement. It just costs a lot of MP to use it over and over. I'm just taking this now since we're in the neighborhood and we don't want to come back.
Yeah, this is not a fun fight.
It's way easier when you have all these tools. Typically, if we have to do them in STS, like you mentioned, we don't have any of these tools, and it's forced, and that's what makes it miserable.
And we have the and unfortunately, he tends to be vanilla in STS far more frequently. This is the big one. Now he's going to cast slow on us. all those circles, just slow us down.
Yeah, but if you don't make contact with them, you don't get slowed. So if I can jump
Well,
over them,
for some weird reason, if you slide through them, you don't slow down. It's really strange. Oh, curse.
it's okay. That could have went better, but it could have also went way worse.
Night do in chat saying, "Oh hi, Alfred, source of most of my resource on HM Metal Run." Yeah, Alfred is tough.
Yeah, like you were
Not tough,
mentioning with
he's tough.
Zangetsu, every boss in this game can theoretically be a I don't want to play anymore moment.
Yeah.
But if you just take like a few minutes to learn like what they do, it's kind of like a Dark Souls, I guess, in that way. Like once you know their pattern, you know you're good. Until you get to the end when it's all random. All right, I think what we're gonna do now is just farm the easiest stuff available. Since we have a teleporter here, we can just come back later. This is not the place we want to be. Like these things they take a lot of hits to kill. And we'd much rather go into the
They
other
hit
portions
hard.
of the castle where like some vertical movement can take us, that enemies will die quicker. This is like, what, 2/3 of the way through the game?
Yeah, this is usually kind of the mid-game range.
Yeah, like
Some
early
Simeon.
early second third of the game, mid second third of the game, something like that.
Summon Simeon is not a great shard, but I have killed the end boss with it before.
Yeah. Infinite mana can make everything good because it all becomes
Here's what
spammable.
I've turned up on the monsters.
No help from the quest NPC, probably no help from Johannes either.
Oh, and I did see our favorite thing at the bottom of the potion crafting. So we had a little bit of a dark time when patch 1.5 came out. The game introduced a soft lock. You're really easy.
I'm making
really
one for you, buddy.
easy to understand. All right, I'm guessing it was a regular potion.
Probably.
Oh,
Okay.
Witch's Hat. That's pretty good.
We'll take that.
Really easy. Just in a menu like that, if you go too fast, the game would soft lock. It also introduced that missing string table entry thing with crafting a potion. When the devs went through and talked with the people that were still playing the game about everything, we specifically told them, hey, leave missing string table entry in. That's really funny. So they left it in for 1.6, but they fixed the actual problems we were running into, luckily. All right, checks.
Yeah, this is just going to be like a backtracking section for the most part. Like I'm just going to look at what I haven't gotten a drop of and then just go kill it. So if we got any donos or updates or anything like that you want to throw in, this is a perfect time for that.
All right, no more donations, but a reminder, this FFR Summer Marathon 2025 is raising money for the Liam Foundation.
Okay, so if you forget like what you've already gotten and not gotten, there's this handy little codex here. So I've pretty much gotten none of this. So this would be a warning for anybody that's photosensitive.
We have it all laid out.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
if you're wondering why it's up there, this is why. All right, that's a yellow. I don't care what.
If it's yellow, we can just look at it.
Not even gonna look at it.
If we really want to know what it was, we can look at it later. Yeah, it is a very fast reset, and it's just left and right. That's all it is. We're just standing on the screen transition and going left and right.
Yeah, that's the fastest way to farm a lot of stuff. Like once you have a beam weapon, you can just find a spot where an enemy's right by you that you need the drop from, and then just do that. I can get up here with double jump right now.
Yeah, double jumps enough.
I can't get up to the mast, but I can get up here. Okay, well,
Ram.
there's your boy. Yeah.
That's my favorite weapon. It's the purple Tepsosius. Not what we need right now. A good shard, but we have Void Ray. Graham is one of those weapons that's actually movement. Consumes a lot of MP, but it basically turns you into Sonic the Hedgehog as opposed to the Flash. And you get a nice big uppercut swing with a greatsword at the end. And that's actually another one thing worth mentioning. the different weapons in the game have different swing paths. Standard swords tend to be kind of in the middle of your body. Spears actually do thrust. They count as piercing thrust damage. If your weapon appears to be blunt, it is blunt. So there's a baseball bat weapon. It technically counts as a sword, but it is a blunt. It does great against armored enemies like that Adola hammer on screen.
This is not easy. Oh. Nope. It's a blue chest though, so we don't necessarily need that. I'm just gonna let that go.
Yeah, that's probably worth orphaning.
Yep.
Great swords, Miriam winds up from behind, swings over her head, and just kind of crushes down. Instead of using fists, Miriam kicks. So there are boots. There are some very good boots available in this game that enable your dive kick becomes an attack, your slides become an attack. If you can craft a couple of very specific boots, they're some of the best for the end game, even. Hell's Knells is the big one. Incredibly good against one of the end bosses.
So I'm just pulling the slot machine, waiting for my jackpot to hit here. And you're going to see a lot of this.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of this. One of the more common percentage drops for shards is 4%. There's some 2s, there's some 5s, there's a couple of 10s, and then there's actually 2 enemies in the game that just will not drop a shard no matter what you do. They don't have one. In the base game, it's that first zombie that you run into that doesn't drop anything, but obviously in Randomizer you can get it.
Yeah, and those nothing pools get shuffled. So you definitely, if you're, you go by an enemy and you defeat it and then you're backtracking or something, definitely want to check the demon, Necronomicon thing that we have. I call it something different every time. Just to make sure that the empty pool did not shuffle onto something you've already defeated once, because it'll tell you in there and save you a bunch of time. Don't kill 90 of something that doesn't drop anything, like I've done in the past.
And most of us that race this, or even just run it, have run into that before. I've had times where I've been running a seed and I know the enemy has something good, and 120 kills later, I still don't have it.
Yeah, that's better than my record. I think my record's like 107.
Was it on Toads?
No, it was on Seema's right there where I just was.
Yeah, Tony is well noted in the community for not enjoying being an enjoyer of killing toads. They're a little random. They're in some awkward spots. There's one or two pretty good places, but you don't really run into them until a little later on, more often than not.
Yeah, I always skip them. They have a 1% lower drop percentage chance. And the room that you can farm them in the beginning of the game, where you don't have access to any other sections of the castle, is a really long in and out to reset them, even though there's 4 or 5 in there. It'll lose you some races sometimes, but sometimes it'll win you some races. Anytime we see a purple, or the nightmare could be over.
My eyes got wide when we saw purple there. I was just like,
that's a good red.
Good red. That is a poison. That is incredibly useful against the second to last boss, unless you count. Once you count 2 bosses and 1, I tend to count them as 2 different bosses. Kind of a boss rush at the end. Bats.
Is there a save room? Yeah, let's go this way.
Is this now a good time to talk about the charity?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alrighty, so this FFR Summer Rando Marathon 2025 is, of course, for the Liam Foundation, whose mission is to encourage, assist, heal, and empower our LGBTQIA plus community through respect, advocacy, and passionate hearts to promote thriving in society. They do a lot of great things.
Yeah, really happy to be here to support them, for sure. It's always nice to help out a local smaller charity as well, because they really need the help, way more so than a lot of others. So happy to be doing that. And I guess the best place to go is over here now.
Yeah, Killer Barber and Buer.
Yeah, so something that you don't usually get to do all that often when you play the base category, or even this category, because you don't find Accelerator all that often anyway, is like casually regenerate your MP while you're farming something, because I'm hitting these torches, you can see they drop in rows, that actually gives you a little bit of MP back. And since Accelerator only drains like an MP or two per second that you use it, you can, you know, you can run into the room and melee something down. You can actually casually refill your MP while you're farming something. And we need this Burr here to drop his shard. So this isn't a bad place to do it. He doesn't have a lot of good rooms on this side of the castle.
There are other parts of the castle where beers pop up and they're a lot easier to get at, but we don't have access to that right now.
Yeah, so we need any of the, what, 3, there's invert, high jump, dimension shift, or reflector ray I could get across the gap if I could find reflector ray and then the Kung Fu shoes.
Yeah, Kung Fu shoes and reflector ray enable them to get across. I
don't know how chaining kicks is going to work with the technical issues, but we would try it if I found it.
At least those demon eyes are sellable for more healing.
I'm just going to check and make sure that he's not empty. Okay, he's not. None of these are.
Ooh.
There's this other guy wasn't in the room. Actually, we can go down here. So we need the picture frame too, so.
Yeah. Scyther's in this room as well, but she's going to be a hard kill with just Void Ray.
It's okay, we can melee her too.
She has a lot of HP for an enemy at this point in the game.
Yeah, she's guarding that door to the left that's kind of like the built-in deterrent that says don't go this way. But again, just a literal not letting you go that way would have probably been more effective.
Yeah, just some sort of key or key item necessary to get through the door, a little bit of a better call. I don't think you picked up Pyramid either.
Yeah, I don't think so, but we got to go back for Plume Parma as well, so. Although he's not really great on this side of the castle either. Okay, there we go. Let's salvage this sinking ship.
This is go mode.
Yeah, no, I would just teleport here. I don't have the item though that lets you teleport back to the village, so I'm just gonna run to this teleporter.
All right, quick restock. Then up to the mid boss.
Yeah, while I'm doing this, I don't know if we mentioned the soft lock issues and the vetting that we do. So if you want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, I did mention the soft lock issues, but the really bad ones from 1.5. There are still a few soft locks that you can run into. Some of the quest generating NPCs or the librarian, which we may or may not see depending on how Tony feels about his power level going into it. If you try to mash out of a menu into their text, you can soft lock yourself. We also run into things with this game where sometimes, because it doesn't have logic, something like Dimension Shift can be hidden in a really weird spot that you can't get to, or Zangetsuto can spawn behind the checks that it's supposed to enable. They did install some safeties into the randomizer. There's one specific check in the area right above the first Zangetsu fight that you can go to that will sometimes spawn there. And those canisters that you have, that one canister that Tony ignored when he went to go check for and found a potion, a lot of times that will have one of those vertical movements, though just the white shards in STS fall into that one. It ended up being a red in this one, so, but
okay, we're going all in.
Black blood kind of a thing. Okay, we're going all in.
We're going all in. I got double ice ring, aqua stream, and some other items.
a double Ice Stream, Aqua Stream, a whole bunch of MP regeneration.
Yep. All right.
So, up the shaft.
Cross your fingers for no lag on this climb. And I'm going to take this second really quick to just tell everybody that, don't worry, this was all planned. We just want to make you tune into the bonus run of this game in a week, where you won't see any of these problems. So,
and a bonus run by Axel.
Yeah, not only will you get the better play, but you know, I did this on purpose. It's all one big giant RNG manipulation. Don't worry. So I opened that earlier. That's specifically to come back through. You can get through it without opening it. There's a couple ways to like kind of clip through there, but I wouldn't risk it in a marathon setting.
Yeah,
so this is one of the few. Yeah, this is one of the few shards that doesn't technically work in 360 degrees. When you go straight up or straight down with this thing, it just doesn't compete.
Yeah, for some reason it puts it straight up or straight down puts you outside of operational range.
Yeah, so that's why I'm climbing diagonally and not just up in a straight line there.
Yeah, moving in 45 degrees is usually one of the best calls.
Yeah, it's the safest. You can go, like you saw me going like 80-ish, you know, or whatever. But I wouldn't recommend it to start with. Get used to it first, like get an infinite MP and mess around with it. See where you're at. Okay, so this game has, just like Soden, a little bit of a callback here. We've got a mid-boss that if you defeat him, you just get the bad ending and like you're out. So that's why we needed the sword, the katana that we found. It's going to let us, after we do enough damage to him, destroy the little object that's controlling him. Basically the exact same as Symphony of the Night. We just have to be careful not to kill Jeeble here.
Which can be very easy to do.
Yeah. But it's not going to happen because I'm not going to bother even poisoning him because we have a lot of good damage already.
Yeah, you only need about 21, 22 ticks at 97 damage per. Knock out all that one of that crit change math a little bit. It should be coming up pretty soon here. Alright, the moon is changing. See how the moon is right up top? We just cut the moon in half with the sword.
Yep, and you have to do this to open the last area to find the final boss. So it's kind of similar to the getting the inverted castle in Symphony of the Night. You know, if you don't do that, you can't even get to the end. So I'm just going to take a quick safety save here too, just because.
Yeah,
why not? Because I'm not going to check any save rooms on the way to the end.
No.
Until the very, very end. And there's a lot of stuff that can kill us in like 2 or 3 hits, so.
Oh yeah. We've been lucky that the save and warp rooms haven't been too heavily shuffled.
Yeah, and I went all in on MP regen items, so I've only got like 6 or 7 healing items, I think. Which will be fine. Once we get into the last boss, we'll be okay.
Cut the moon in half again.
Yeah, it's just all the stuff in between there and now. So basically, we're just going to keep doing this super speed run thing until we get to the end. And if you guys have anything right now, anything come in, go ahead.
Yes, we did. We had $5 from Dark Moon. Dimension Shift!
Or if you change the vocal line to Japanese, Dimension Shifto.
Shifto, yeah.
Not line, that's the translation, so. You're about to hear it a lot right here. Because this is our only form of vertical movement, so. You do get a little bit of invincibility when you start up and end the animation, but not much.
As we're trying to work our way through Tiny Huge Island here, as we like to call it.
Yeah, I have a habit of naming every zone after Super Mario World zones that look the same, so I think I was commenting a run one time and we were in the lava area and I just was like, couldn't remember the name. It's like Volcano Cave. It's really simple. And I just was like, oh, hey, yeah, and now we're going into Lethal Lava Land, and then I just started doing it for every zone. There's dry docks and Cool Mountain. You know, we're about to see Cool Mountain in a minute. But yeah, I mean, I'm more of a commentator than player. But But when the opportunity came up to try to get into the marathon here and, you know, living close enough to it, that's when I decided to submit. And here I am. So if you like RPGs, randomizers, all this kind of stuff, don't think that you can't get here, because you absolutely can. And even if you can't, come here and hang out with us. I'm staying the whole weekend, play some Magic, you know, watch some more runs, get some good food.
I'm at home, but I'm having fun watching all the Final Fantasy randomizers. It's a world of randomizers I've never really experienced before, so.
Yeah, you know, can we get some? Can we get a little love for all the other runs we had today?
Yeah.
Got a little love here, guys. Final Fantasy 5, Final Fantasy 6. That ridiculous Super Mario World FF1 AP earlier. That was crazy. What else? What else was
Yeah,
there?
I really want to try Worlds Collide now.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's my next project, I think, after I'm done here today. It's gonna take a little Bloodstained break.
Dimension shift. The final necessary dimension shift. And
What else do we have?
we have validated the seed with the crystal.
We had Sonic. We had. I think I'm forgetting one.
All right,
Yeah.
and we're into the last bosses. This is Dominique. She's terrible.
Yeah, typically.
She's random.
Yeah, completely random, and we fight her usually really under-leveled. So if you played the base game here, you're probably okay. Like, oh, she wasn't that hard. Yeah, well, you were like level 60, and you know you had all this gear. Okay, this is where we got to be really careful.
There are instances. Oh. Yeah,
That's-
those ghosts are.
Yeah, because you could just get stun locked in the corner. She could store
Dominique
that
has
elbow move and just pull it out in frame
Yeah,
one. whenever
Dominique
she
has
wants.
that elbow that she just pulled out right there. We found out by looking through things that she can actually, when it comes up on her rotation, she can just store it and then bring it out whenever she wants. So she could just store it and
There
then
it is.
whack you for 161 right there and send you flying into one of those fire orbs and kind of kill you.
Yeah, I was gonna try to kill her faster, but
Yeah.
forget it. We'll just keep our distance.
All right, so it's now a good time for another donation?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All righty, so we have $5 from Sprocket Stance. Dimension Shift!
Through that safety save. Luckily, that one doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but there's a reason we took the safety save right before the fight.
Yeah, if I don't die here, I'm gonna demand a round of applause. So I should absolutely die. Not yet. Hold it. There's another
Not yet.
boss.
We still have another boss.
I have to
fight.
beat this other boss without getting hit at all.
Side.
Or we're doing this again. Yeah, we're out of healing items because I went all in on MP regeneration. So, but there's a reason, and if we have enough MP, we won't even have a chance to get hit. So, let's see what happens. There's a little preview.
Yeah, we've got to wait for Dominique to pop up on one of those 3 heads. All right, she popped up on Landlord. That's the kind of medium. Oh. All right.
Alright, no problem. We'll just take it safe through the first fight and then we'll do that. That's why Infinite IP is so good.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
since
for
we're doing
some
this
weird
again, do
reason,
we have
the
time for
actual
the donation?
animation of that final boss Bale is considered part of the background, which causes that blue shard to actually work on it. It's the only boss in the game that works on it, and it's the final, like the actual final boss.
Yeah, we got real quick, we got another donation, I think.
Oh yeah, if you got another donation, get it in.
Yep. All right, $15 donation from Karant. This is $1 for how many hats and crowns and cups I had on my head. Let's put this towards making our Skyrim hero a cute kitty. Oh, and Dimension Shift!
Thank you.
It's That's what I'm talking about.
His donation. And so while we're going through this fight again, real quick, there is one other thing we wanted to bring up. While we are playing on the in-game randomizer, the default in-game randomizer, the reason we do that is to allow for all of the platforms to compete against each other. There is a PC-only true randomizer with logic and all the other fun stuff that almost all of these other runs you'll see this weekend have, but it locks the console players out, and we want to be as inclusive as possible. So, if for some, you have a PS4 and you happen to have bought this game and you want to get in on randomizer runs, hop into our Discord. We'll be happy to give you all the resources and even go through runs with you. Wow, come on. Unreal Engine.
We're just showing off all the tech stuff right now. I haven't seen that in over a year.
I have not seen that crash in a long time.
Yeah, I only got hit by the dragon in that fight, which is not.
And that was such a good fight too. Yeah, no,
You know what? It's Axel's fault. He named the seed by him and Selmon. He's haunting us.
Not only is he haunting us, he's playing along, and he posted an in-game time of 58:23:08.
Yeah, there you go.
And now he's in that both of us.
All right, I forgot to put the ice rings on last time, so doesn't matter for this part.
We really get to show off. We really get to show off the power of duplicating your attacks with Aqua Stream.
I mean, it wouldn't be a run if we didn't have to fight Dominique like 4 times.
No, yeah, that's true.
This is what happens in most races. Like, you go for this, you find go mode early, you come here with like nothing but melee and dimension shift, and then you have to do this 6 times.
Yeah,
she just elbows you twice in a row and you die.
Unless you're Hopra, Axel, or Jupiter Climb, you're just kind of running your head up against the wall.
Yeah, those are like our best winners.
Hopra is the all-around world record holder. Jupiter Climb currently has the no major glitch category, but he did some really hard to do stuff that actually worked. And it actually requires the paid DLC to pull off.
I got hit by something, but I don't remember what it was. I think I got hit once.
This game actually has a lot of DLC. It has a lot of sub options. There's multiple ways to play through it, aside from randomizer. There's a Castlevania 1 type classic mode. There's a Castlevania 2 mode, classic mode 2. That one's a lot of fun. If you like Castlevania 2, classic mode 2 and Bloodstained is worth your money.
Okay.
So,
I'm gonna keep this on until we actually get our spawn here.
Ice Ring improves damage of ice and water attacks. Aqua Stream is a water attack. Frog has the least uptime, but it results in some pretty good. There we go. Okay, bunch of fruit juice. See how we're doing 43 damage a tick, and we're firing off a whole pile of ticks. That's the duplication. Oh, that was an excellent stack.
Might be out of range.
Yeah, you're out of range. Save it.
Yeah, we'll just save the mana.
If you have double jump, you have the easy way of getting around it.
Oh yeah, we got enough MP. Yeah.
Oh yeah, plenty. Even if you do somehow run out, you have a lot of HP regeneration right now.
Time.
106.54. 106.50 with some crashes and all sorts of other stuff.
Hey, you know what? Pressure was off.
Take it.
I can just blame whatever mistakes I made on that. So no. All serious though, like the tech, you guys are doing a great job. So, like the whole setup is awesome. So that don't let that discourage you. I promise it runs good on most devices. Yeah,
It
but real
runs
quick,
really well on Xboxes.
I had like a little bit, but we'll cut it because we're trying to save some time. We just want to say thanks to our community, especially Fran. Without her, I don't think a lot of us would even be involved in the randomizer. Like, she's the one who got a lot of us to even try it out. So we just want to say, Verlieben dich, Fran, over in Germany. We love you. And thanks for having us, and thanks for letting us support such a great charity.